Welcome to week 5 of Turn Up Bear Down, the 2021 edition. We're here again this week with Coach Matt Jansen. How are we doing?
What's going on, Scotty? Just thought I'd take my time here today to just let the world know that my dad met DK Metcalf
Wow,
a few weeks ago. Yeah,
that's pretty neat.
dropping that on the show.
Yeah, wow.
So
Basically a celebrity.
apparently my folks were watching the Twins and the Blue Jays. Bro plays with the Blue Jays, so they were out there watching him, and they were staying in the same hotel.
Yeah,
And by the grace of God, Steve Jansen ends up in a hotel, or not in a hotel, a elevator, excuse me, hotel elevator with DK Metcalf.
that's crazy.
Uh, and so the old man goes, "Hey, are you Metcalf?" And he goes, "Yep." And he goes, "All right, kick the Vikings' ass this weekend," or something like that, like the true Bears fan that he is. So
Yeah, for sure.
that's a total OG move by Steve-O, and
Yeah.
it's pretty sick.
Unfortunately, they did not. They ended up losing to the Vikings that week.
They did.
Yeah. Otherwise, the Vikings would be 0-4. The Lions would be 0-4. Um, But hey, we're 2-2 though. 2-2. The Packers are looking more like what we would expect the Packers to look like, but we're not in a bad spot. And the big news is that we have a new quarterback, Justin Fields. Officially, he will be the starter this week, and the starter going forward. The big thing was he will not be pulled for play. He will only be not the quarterback or QB1 if he gets injured. So, how do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, when I heard the news, it obviously made me sigh relief because Justin Fields, some of my takeaways from last game, clearly showed you that he can make a lot of throws in the NFL. The play action to Mooney that was deep. The deep crosser that Mooney one handed, and then a few out routes to A-Rod. I mean, there were a few throws that showed you, okay, this guy's for real, and
Yeah.
it showed that he has the potential, and he's obviously capable of doing what we expect of him, and what I know he expects of himself. So, there's another one like third quarter at the 10:55 mark, a little back shoulder to Mooney. They obviously have some chemistry,
Right.
but that explosive offense was back, and a lot of it was working off the play action. Thank goodness for Bill Lazor and his play action. So
Yeah. I loved last week's game from start to finish. I mean, I guess there was a couple bit of a little bit of a letdown in the second half, but the fact that we came out and scored touchdowns on the first two drives, I don't even remember the last time that happened for a Bears team. Moved the ball well. I love the down the field throws. Even if they don't connect, like you got to do it. You got to throw the ball down the field. It really opens up the rest of the offense. Montgomery was on to a huge game until unfortunately he got hurt. He's going to miss 4 to 5 weeks from the reports I read. But we got Damian Williams, even though he also got a little bit nicked up in that game. I think he's questionable, should be playing. I actually picked him up in fantasy because we like to get down to the goal line and give our backs the ball. Justin Fields does not have a throwing touchdown yet, and
doesn't.
I can't remember. Does Andy Dalton? Yeah, he threw one to
Yeah,
A Rob.
yeah.
A Rob, and that's our only passing touchdown, if I'm correct. I think all the other ones have been rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, Fields definitely showed his potential. We're looking forward to his progress. That's for me. I'm not so wrapped up in wins and losses. I'm just worried about how he progresses this year. Honestly, for me,
Mm-hmm.
and again, like defensively, edge pressure was great. Mack and Quinn were havoc. It's obviously superior to our inside rush. Still like our front four though. I think the secondary showed you a little bit of potential. Like I told you, I think our Shelley, Vildor, and Jalen Johnson, I think, show you that they can be above average. They can be, they can stop some teams.
For sure.
Um, I felt like they could have handled Hawkinson a little bit better. He was
Yeah.
their go-to guy, and that's what I'm going to get to. Personally, I think Eddie Jackson should. I'm praying that Eddie Jackson matches up with Darren Waller, and we at least try to put our best cover guy on our, outside of Jalen,
Mm-hmm.
on Darren Waller. I just don't see how any other matchup is going to even be remotely uh, productive in our favor. So when we get down to key players, I'll definitely talk about that. But that's a big portion for me. And just remember, I mean, really, we could only go up from the game in Cleveland. So the offense
Yeah.
looked good. We could build on that.
Sure.
So, looking forward to hopefully with Oakland not having an outstanding defense, just trying to build on that regardless of outcome.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into the keys. Well, I guess the matchup first, and I do have to correct you, but you just said the Oakland Raiders. They're now the Las Vegas Raiders,
They are.
and I believe this is our first time ever playing them as the Vegas Raiders. I think when we played them in London 2 years ago, they were still the Oakland Raiders. So
Back.
keys to
I
the
got,
game.
a lot, I got a lot of Oakland Raiders fans that listen to the channel, and I had to pay respect to them because that franchise died in Oakland.
That's true. That's true. They will always be. I guess they'll
Always.
always be kind of the Oakland Raiders, and honestly, they kind of have a pretty cool mascot and all of those types of things. But
Yeah,
let's
Death
talk about
Disciple, Darth Maul.
yeah, yeah. Let's talk about these keys to the game. So for me, with last week, we got to keep the downfield passing game going, especially with David Montgomery out. Now I feel like we need to kind of throw the ball down the field to open up the run game, or else they're going to really play for the run game. Also, pressuring Derek Carr. I did a little research, and Bosa from the Chargers, he said that what you have to do to Derek Carr is you have to put the pressure on him, and when you do that, you can win. Um, and as you maybe saw, the Chargers were able to get to Carr and force him into some mistakes, and he didn't look as good last week as he did the first 3 weeks of the season. Lastly, we need to continue to force takeaways. Last week was incredible. Like what multiple turnovers, some really weird turnovers. That fumble that Goff had, and then on for the Raiders, dominate with their defensive line. If they can really do that and get to Fields, then I'm afraid of what we saw in Cleveland happening again. To counter that, we need to max protect. It worked a lot better. They got to protect Carr, allow him to stay upright. He can really hurt you if he is not pressured though, and I've seen him play well quite a few games. And then can the Raiders establish the run game? Because my big takeaway from the game 2 years ago in London is that Josh Jacobs ran all over us. It was like a nightmare. He was everywhere. So those are my keys. What do you think?
Yeah, I like those. I got a lot of the same. Just starting with Oakland. Their combination of Waller, Ruggs, and Renfro at all three levels, where Ruggs is burning the top off your defense, and Renfro's getting the short stuff. Kind of like a Wes Welker, and Darren Waller can literally run any route at the tight end position. Like their offensive passing attack. Obviously Derek Carr, the quarterback, not super mobile, but he is elusive. But he kind of reminds me of Brett Favre in the fact that he's got some pocket awareness, and sometimes he's slippery. And then defensively, players like Max Crosby, they have some sneaky good linebackers. Denzel Perryman, who was made the Pro Bowl several years, as well as KJ Wright, are back there. And if we're talking about having to run the ball, where you're talking about our running backs trying to beat those two guys in holes or to spots. So, coming back our way, obviously, whether it's Damian Williams or it's old Herb, uh, will remain to be seen. It would be better for D. Will to play. He's going to get a lot of snaps. I'm playing him in a few fantasy leagues because I really think if he's healthy, he can catch passes. If you're in a PPR league, he's going to obviously get some touches. He'll get 13 to 15 touches, I think, if he's healthy in a few
Wait,
passes.
clarification. Damian Williams or Herbert?
Damian Williams.
Yeah. Okay.
If it's the other way, then they'll probably do Herbert with another back. I don't see Herbert taking the whole load there, but
No.
Justin Fields, take care of the ball. The one pick last week I think was fluke, as a tip ball. I wasn't upset about it, because I saw how efficient he was, with most of his throws.
That
Khalil Mack
fumble scared me too.
fumble. Yeah, I mean,
While you're on
isn't it
that time.
crazy, dude? He's recovered 2 fumbles that could have been bad.
Oh yeah,
The
Scoop and
fact that he
score
got that
fumbles.
fumble, he's like the 15th guy to touch that ball.
I
Anyways,
don't know
Khalil Mack. This is the trade game, man. So you look for Khalil with some extra juice this week, I'm sure, to try to create some extra havoc, to just kind of say, hey, Raiders, you remember me? Then again, Eddie Jackson, please guard Darren Waller this week, because at least we have a shot then in that matchup. I know he's a free range safety, but I mean, you put Gibson on Waller, you put Shelley, put Vildor, and Waller's going to win all day. And how is that going to help us? really, that's kind of what I have for some key players. But I'm just, like I said, I'm excited because I think I think our offense is not going to become elite overnight, but I think we can slowly start to create an identity and gain confidence with Justin Fields in our future moving forward.
Yeah, solid. I had a couple of the same people for key players. I actually included the entire Bears O line, but so last week Justin Fields, it was his first start. Or wait, that's not correct. It was his first home start after the Cleveland debacle, but now it's really his. So going forward, like, what is he going to be able to do? How is he going to grow? I'm looking to Fields as one of the key players. Can he be a difference maker this week? And usually I throw in David Montgomery, but now that he's out, who's gonna take over and take that spot? The O line, if they can protect Fields, if they can give him time and allow him to do things, whether through the air or with his feet, I like that. And also the line's going to do a big job of blocking for Williams or Herbert, even if Fields is running the ball. We'll probably get a couple plays where Mooney's running the ball too now, because Nagy will probably have a little bit of influence. He's got to get a wide receiver to run the ball in the game at some point, or else, life's just messed up. Then Carr, yeah, again, Carr can be good. He had that year when I think they were 12-4, and they got second in the division that year, if I'm right. Did they win the division that year, or was the Chiefs?
The year they won it was, I think, that was the year
No,
that Derek Carr got hurt late. They talking about
I
yeah,
think they just made the playoffs, didn't they? Because they lost to like
yeah, and then
the
didn't they lose to
Texans
like
or
the Bills
something.
or something in the wild card or something? Or
They lost
Texans?
in the wild card. I think it was the Texans, a
Yeah,
game that
it
they
was.
could have won. Oh, the Broncos, I think, won the division that year. That was back when they had Peyton Manning.
Oh,
Um, but
you're losing me.
anyway, uh, Josh Jacobs, will he have a big game? He's been a little bit injury prone off and on this year, but I look for him to play. Hopefully, we can contain him. And then Max Crosby's just been a beast. You mentioned him. He's been all over the backfield first few games. But I think, again, it'll be interesting. A couple weeks ago when we were talking, like, yeah, 2 weeks ago before the Browns game, I thought we'd probably lose this game because it's away, it's the Raiders. Still have that bad taste in my mouth from the London game 2 years ago, but I'm feeling pretty optimistic. I think it's just the Fields effect.
Don't even start with that stuff because I don't even. I want that young man to have a chance.
True.
Uh, just going back to just a few things. Offense, like you said, has to. We just have to build off last week. We're always going to be in a good situation with our guards. It's just going to kind of be our tackle play, and then also I feel like Sam Mustipher's gotten a lot of heat for not playing great over the first couple weeks. Not to what he did last year, at least to level that. And so, the good part for our line, I feel like our line is going to be up and down all year.
Yeah.
And so the rate, from what some of my research doing, looking at the numbers here, the Raiders defense have allowed a top 10 running back in fantasy points in three out of the first 4 weeks.
Wow, that's really good news
That's
for
deep.
yeah.
Well, and honestly, like if we can run the ball a little bit, that's going to take pressure off Justin Fields, and that's what we want. That's the way that we're going to be able to win football games too, as well. That at this point, so and like I said, we're going to have to run. We have to be explosive with Mooney. Continue to be. Obviously, we can. Mooney and Fields can hook up.
Yeah.
That's been proven. They have chemistry. We need to continue to be explosive. The A-Rob usage is a little concerning to me. I would like for him to. We need to throw the ball to him, more, or incorporate him more into the offense. Problem is, he doesn't really take handoffs like Mooney does. So that,
No.
I guess, in Nagy's eyes or Lazor's eyes, limits his touches. And you probably wouldn't guess it from the start of the year, but guess who is your week 4 passing leader? Who's your week 4 passing leader right now through 4 weeks
For the Bears?
for the NFL?
Well, I'm gonna say Derek Carr.
It's 100% Derek Carr.
Dang.
Almost, he's got 1399 as far as passing yards. He's in first place. So,
Wow.
he's got 8 touchdowns, 3 picks. He's having a good year. Their defense has played well, but I do think that it's susceptible. That secondary doesn't scare me either. So if we can run the ball, then I think we can definitely expose that secondary a little bit more than having to being third and long and really playing into the defense's hands there. So those are a couple things I'm looking at. And I'm definitely excited, but again, just tempering things. I don't want to get too excited. How many times has that burned us as Bear fans? We thought, we had two guys, Cutler and Trubisky, that were our saviors, and we obviously invested a lot in them. And what did that get us? So taking it slow with this one. It's like a relationship. You just got to take it slow, Scotty. Right?
That's good advice. So, yeah, Robinson does need to get the bar. What?
That just stunned Scott. I just want our viewers.
Yeah, I was focused on the Bears right now, but anyway. So at one point I was going to try to go to this game because it's in Vegas. I figured it'd be fun to go, see the new stadium, watch the Bears play the Raiders. Usually you can get like uh, a cheap hotel in Vegas because they make their money from people gambling more than they do from staying. But when we were looking at prices, it was just so expensive because basically everybody's wanting to go to a game in Vegas now.
Sure.
So I'm feeling a little bit sad the fact that I'm not going to be there, especially to see Justin Fields play because, again, 2 weeks ago we were told Justin Fields wasn't going to play all year, and here we
Right.
are via injury and then good play against the Lions. He is now the starter for the rest of the year. So anyway, a couple things going on. We are the 3:05 time slot this week, so more of America gets to watch Justin Fields play.
Yep.
We are 5.5-point underdogs. You think that's fair?
I do. Yeah, I do. And looking at those numbers, I'm definitely going against the grain there.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I don't bet on Bears games because I feel like that would just always go against um, the opposite thing would always happen. But here's what I'm predicting. I'm predicting a Bears upset. 27-24. Maybe Santos hits a field goal towards the end of the game, or maybe we're down 24-20 and we get a late touchdown to win this game. And I'm just excited. Maybe I'm feeling a little bit too into the Fields mania, if you will, which I would say hasn't really started because we've only played the Lions yet with him and got a win there. But if we can build on the offense, then I like our chances. And a big takeaway for me too through all of this is that Bill Lazor can call a better game than Matt Nagy.
Oh, you and I can call a better game than that, Nagy. I got 24-21 Oakland, aka Las Vegas Raiders, over my Bears. I think their offense is a little bit better than we've seen, with the exception of that Rams game. And I don't think we have quite enough momentum on offense yet for us to get the job done here. And honestly, fans, I'm warning you, the next 4 games could be ugly, but it could really be a good thing for Justin Fields to go through. If you think about it, if he's going to play against Tom Brady, it's only going to help his development to play against the best and to see some of the things that they do and make those connections, because that's ultimately going to help his development. So brace yourself, go Bears. I'm excited. Maybe we sneak a field goal, but yeah, I'm going the other way. I say we lose by 3. Tough Bears loss, but we're looking ahead of the future, right? I mean, as long as it's a good game, and as long as the offense plays good, I'm happy.
Yeah, for sure. And I would say to your point, if we can make these games competitive and Fields is doing things well, it'll be fun. If we see a lot of games like the Browns game, then I'm gonna lose my mind because that was a really frustrating loss. Like, how is your offense that bad where you have 1 yard passing and you're an NFL team? That's almost impossible.
Embarrassing.
It's so bad. Um, and obviously, like, was it part of Nagy's fault? Um, if he's calling plays and then the next week they look this much better, like, I don't care who you're playing in a way because the Lions almost beat the Ravens. They played well against the Packers at times. They played well against the 49ers at times. And so Fields is still doing that against an NFL team, even if it's the Lions. So I'm excited to see what this offense looks like. Apparently, everything still runs through Matt Nagy. That was his quote of what he said. Um, Hopefully, though, Bill Lazor continues to have some control and Nagy can give that up because I see a better product just like last year when we noticed the difference. Even if we were playing worse teams, still you
Yep.
should be able to produce on offense. So
Agree with your partner. Excited for it.
yeah.
Turn up. Let's get this thing rolling, baby.
All
3 and
right.
2.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for stopping by. Go Bears.
Ow!